everybody. My name is LaBecca Hyatt from River Life Family Worship Center, and welcome to Testimony Tuesdays. Join us each week to hear what God is doing in our lives. Here's this week's testimony. Hi, everybody. My name is LaBecca. Welcome back, and this is Jason Summers.
I'm me.
He
and
goes
you're you.
to the River Life Family Worship Center with us. And Jason, how are you today?
Always better than I deserve, LaBecca. Always better than I deserve. Isn't that true, folks? Ask my wife, she'll reaffirm it.
So, Jason, what do you think the testimony is? What is it to you?
Well, testimony, as it says, it's the first part of testimony. It says test. And so all of our lives are filled full of test. And when we go through a test and we come out of it, we now have a testimony, something we can share to other people about the trials or the circumstances we've been through. And a good testimony gives people hope. So when we come through a test, we come out, when we've got God living on the inside of us, we come out better than we were when we started the test. And so we have a testimony.
So, okay, do you want to give one?
Absolutely, because all of us have a testimony. And the problem that sometimes we get into is that we're in life, as well as our testimonies, our walk with God, sometimes we make our lives a comparison game where we're comparing ourselves against somebody else, our testimony against somebody else. And I can tell you that no matter what your testimony is, and you have one, it's yours and it's unique to you. And so every one of us have a testimony. So my testimony is very important to me because it's been a test that I've been through, and it's how, I really got to know God. And so all of us have a testimony, and so, one of the follies is that comparison game I talked about. So my testimony is no more special than anybody else's, but it is mine. And, when I think about tests, the ultimate test in our life, the greatest question and test we have to come to is God real? And how do we get to the place where we make God real in our life? And when I was 12 years old, my testimony starts there, on a bicycle, by myself. When I was a little boy, sometime around 6, 7 years old, my mom and dad got divorced. And my dad he wasn't abusive necessarily to me physically, but he was to my mother, and he became an alcoholic. And sometime around 6, 7, 8 years old, he kind of left the house, left the family, and my mom and dad got divorced, I think around 10 years of age. And that was pretty tough, not having a father. My mom's a saint, she's awesome, but every little boy needs a dad. Everybody needs a dad. And when you don't have a father and you come from poor means, things can be a challenge. And then life really turned. At 12 years old, my sister was brutally murdered. And when that happened, it brought something to my life that I don't think any person should have to feel, and nor should a 12-year-old boy have to go through, and that's fear and anxiety, hopelessness and loneliness. And on a bicycle by myself on a summer day, looking around and realizing I'm all by myself on this bicycle, and already having more tears than a boy should ever cry. And those tears on the inside couldn't be calculated. And I was broke. There was nothing. There was hopelessness, loneliness. And I screamed out. And I literally did. I screamed on this bicycle, 12 years old, and I screamed out, God, what did I do to deserve this? If you're real, if there really is a God, what did I do to deserve this? And the crazy thing, LaBecca, and by the way, you may think I'm crazy, and that's okay, because it just is. The voice answered back. And that voice answered back, and I'm 49 years old, soon to be 50. Yeah, those are real wrinkles. I'm paraphrasing what a 12-year-old boy heard, but the question I asked, or the challenge, and it really was a challenge, it was, God, what did I do to deserve this? If you are real, what did I do to deserve this? And the voice answered back, and it said, take your eyes off your problems and give thanks. And that sounds crazy, but that's the voice. And I wanted to know, because what happens is when you start to look for things to be thankful for, it's very difficult to be grateful and depressed all in the same breath. And so it's like the law of displacement. When your life is full of darkness, you just got to put little lights in there, and eventually the light takes over the darkness. And that voice, I wanted to hear that voice because, like a crazy man, from that point on that bike to this very day, I'm always trying to find something to be grateful for. And it becomes that trigger of hope that gets me through all of life's continuous tests. And I want to find out, where did that voice come from? Because that was the only place that I could start to see change. Because, see, on the outside I was broken, but on the inside, the depths of the hopelessness and the loneliness. And by the way, I think if we thought about what hell might look like, we think about fire and being tortured. But I think at 12 years old, I kind of seen a little bit of what hell might feel like. It's hopelessness and loneliness. And that's what happens when we get separated from God. There is no hope, and we're all alone. And that voice, I wanted to find out where that voice came from, and I went on a journey. The voice didn't say, quit being bad, didn't say to give up all, my money at 12 years old, my paper route money, didn't say get into church, it didn't say do all these things. As a matter of fact, it said nothing other than to take my eyes off my problems and give thanks. And when I went on the journey to find that voice, I found it. I found it in Jesus Christ. And see, you could convince me, that globe that's behind us is not real a lot quicker than you could ever convince me that God is not real. And without meeting God on a bicycle at 12 years old, and then wanting to have that personal relationship where the emptiness on the inside was being filled by the God of creation on the inside of me. And that's the beginning. And the rest is my life, filled with more tests, some bigger than others, but with hope, because I have the living God on the inside. And that's my testimony. And the testimony is that, if a broken boy who's poor, who had no father, and really didn't know God, if he can find God on a bicycle, then maybe there's hope for all of you. I assure you, I know how bad I am. I know how broken I was. And there is hope for all of us, because God doesn't love me more than he does anybody else. He's not a God of selection. He's a God of election, and he's elected to love all of us. You. Amen. So, you could be like me and not know, and you can call out, and he will come to you and reveal himself directly to you. Testimony Tuesday. And if there's another thing I could leave with all of you as we go off into wherever you're at, you might be sitting, how cool is this? You could be sitting in your underwear right now listening to this. Or you could be sitting in your suit and tie listening to this. Or you could be in some foreign country listening to this.
Or on a boat.
Or on a boat in the middle of nowhere. But sometimes nowhere is right in the middle of everywhere.
Yeah.
Right?
And God's pretty loud in nowhere.
Yes. See? Testimony Tuesday.
Love you guys.